well-being and relaxation. So, if you're not exercising, sort that out, work with your practitioner to figure out how to do that. And, even people who don't like exercise, they say, one of my mottos in the book, and I tell people is, I ask, what's the best exercise? Mm-hmm. And they, maybe it's walking, swimming, whatever. But I say, no, it's the one that you'll actually do.
Good point.
So if I can get people fun, and sometimes people don't like anything, but, they got to find something they'll do, and it has to be accessible to them, If you like playing baseball, then you got to get, 18 people, or so to do that. If you just, do a yoga class, you just need yourself, So that's just number two. Third one is getting proper sleep. That's, 50% or more people don't sleep well. They don't fall asleep easily, or they get up in the middle of the night and toss and turn, don't sleep well, so they're not rested. Mm-hmm. So sleep is important. It recharges us. It keeps us younger. It protects our heart and body. And, really more common things I see as a family doctor are this quaternity, I say, these four aspects of fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, and depression. Uh-huh. Most people are trying to manage their mood and energy with stimulants and sedatives: caffeine, sugar, alcohol, cannabis. And when they don't sleep well, they do a little more coffee and sugar. When they're tired during the day, they do a little bit more stimulant. So I'm doing, actually, on my website, I have a program called Regain Your Natural Energy. It's a 7-day, self-paced, with me guiding there. I have like 40 videos on there encouraging people and educating them about the effects of all these things. Doesn't mean they're all bad. We can't do them, but most people become, what I really want people to do, Jim, is to understand what they're doing and how it affects them. So it brings back self-awareness, which probably should be part of our keys as well. But that's, comes in attitude. But in terms of getting proper sleep, when we do that, we have a tendency to have better energy in the day, and we don't need so much stimulation and all that.
Right.
So the Regain Your Natural Energy program is something that people can sign on and do anytime. It's an evergreen course. It's taken me a year to put that together, and it really helps guide people with video support, questionnaires, commitment plans, and, just really to make life change. This is what I do in practice. The ideal state is helping people make the changes they need to really optimize their health. And I'll tell you a story afterwards, but I got my other keys. Learning to manage stress is important for all of us. We're not trained in that, in school. Most parents don't guide people in that, but learning how to relax, learning how to, a lot of different things, not take things too personally, learn how to fair fight, I call it. All of us in relationship know how intense it can be when we get upset with one another, or even upset with ourselves. So
sure.
I have the section, one of the favorite sections I wrote about in my Staying Healthy with New Medicine book is called The Art and Practice of Peacefully Not Getting Along. So how do you have a disagreement with your significant other, or a kid or a parent or whatever? How do you have a disagreement and do that respectfully so you really can listen and not react? One of the things in my practice, since I have a lot of staff, in my office, and mostly women who are the support staff, it can get, I've had times, I've been there, 35 years, so I've had times where somebody doesn't get along with each other and all that, and, they're reacting to what they think happened, and we do all this stuff in our mind, and it really stresses us.
Sure.
But, I say learn the difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is a defense, and we're blocking something, typically, and a response means we really received that, and now I'm saying, okay, well, here's what I feel about that. And you do that when you're having an argument with somebody. If you cannot defend yourself and just really listen, and even, part of, fair fighting, I call it, is, when you say, like, if your wife says, Jim, blah, 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 why are you leaving your dishes all over the place, but she says it in a way like, Jim, it would really help me if you put your dishes away,
right.
or picked up your clothes, or that, because I have a lot of stress, a lot to do, and I really could encourage your stuff. That's what I do. Like if I'm trying to get somewhere on the phone or somebody has a disagreement, I say, how can we make this better? I'm asking for your help to, improve the situation or whatever it might be. So that's, kind of a stress orientation. But we all should learn a breathing kind of relaxation, and that's where exercise comes in. It really helps us, get rid of some of the extra charge that we have. And I think electromagnetic stress is something we could talk about a whole show on. All of our exposure now to Wi-Fi and computers and phones and all that, kind of builds up in the body. And I think people need, water therapy for that. They need to put their feet on the earth, help ground them. Mm-hmm. So those are some ideas. And underlying, the 5 keys, is attitude. And attitude is really crucial. It's, when you develop an attitude about, this is what happened for me, I shifted my attitude. So when I got out of, and I'll come back to complete that in a sec, but, when I finished medical school and internship, it was the early 70s, natural medicine and kind of objection to, patriarchal Western medicine that didn't really, engage people, but it just treated disease. People were frustrated. So I realized I didn't know anything about health and healing, and I was overweight. I had allergies for 20 years. I was pretty athletic, so I was still, somewhat fit, but, I wasn't vital. Mm-hmm. And so I went and heard this talk about juice cleansing, and, I said, well, I didn't learn any of this in med school. Let's tell you, what do I got to lose? I got some extra weight, and I went on, Master Cleanse, which is a lemonade diet with lemon juice, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and water. So it's kind of a spicy lemonade. I just drank that straight. So I felt pretty crummy for a couple of days, headachy, irritable, and then by the third day I woke up clear, no congestion. I slept for 5 hours, and I felt great when I woke up.
Wow.
And over those next few days, I started feeling better and better. Even I said, wow, this is how I want to feel.
Yeah.
I said, what will it take to do that? So I started, reading and applying some of the ideas that were becoming popular then, as eat close to nature, eat natural foods, get away from the junk, all the stuff we've talked about so far. So, but really what shifted for me is my attitude. Uh-huh. I went from, okay, whatever, I can eat whatever I want, nutrition doesn't have much to do with health or energy. And I said, wow, it matters what I put in my body. Everything I eat becomes part of me, and I'm going to change how I take care of myself. So I started, basically I said, this is the only body I have. I'm going to treat it with love. Yeah. And so I started to eat better. I started to, do a really clean diet. I did more exercise. I got my body worked on. I had some imbalances from the sports I played growing up, that my low back was bothering. I had adjustments. I really started taking care of myself, and I've committed to that. And, 40-some years later, and I do a 10-day juice cleanse every year, every spring, and I think it really kind of refreshes me. And, I just turned 71. I don't take any medicines. I feel pretty good every day. I don't have a lot of issues. I'm not going to live forever, but I definitely know that my health is so much better because of the way I've lived the last 40 years than if I continued living the lifestyle I grew up with and the way most people live.
Yeah.
So that attitude is important. It really, goes underneath and overrides all those other aspects. So to me, that's really important. And that, that's the 5 keys again: good nutrition, good fitness, great sleep, managing stress, and keeping a healthy attitude. And that means an attitude toward others, toward life in general. If you're, if you're a downer kind of person, that you look at the negative aspects, I started my work doing imagery work with people, guided imagery, relaxing them and helping them see themselves healed. And we've all talked about the power of the mind and all that. So to me, when we think negatively, we can have, problems from that. It's just like even a treatment. The imagery people have, one of the things I'm aware of is how doctors talk to patients. I get this complaint from people a lot when they go to other doctors. They say, I ask them about, are there herbs or other things I can do? And they said, no, don't waste your time on that. You're going to have this the rest of your life. You need to be on this. And, a lot of that stuff is just opinion, and it's almost a sense of control. You're trying to really limit people. And I think that even in, cancer therapy, and this was shown in studies a long time ago, people's ideas and their imagery about, chemotherapy or radiation or everything affected their outcome. Mm-hmm. So when I first started practicing, I wanted to be really conscientious. When I prescribed the medicine, I want to tell people all the side effects and here's what could happen. I don't do that so much anymore. I give them a different image. Yes, there may be side effects, but they occur rarely, which is true for most medicines anyway. And most likely you will, this is what's going to do. If I'm giving somebody an antibiotic for a respiratory thing, it's going to go in, it's going to clean up, it's going to get rid of the germs that are causing your problem, then your body can use that same energy to heal. I'll give them a picture, a sense, a positive sense about what could happen, and I want that seed to go in there more than a negative one.
Right, sure.
All right, well, I'm taking a breath there. That was the 5 keys to staying healthy.
Well, what's interesting...
It's on my website and in my new medicine book as well.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it already. We could probably do 10 shows on each topic, but you did stimulate a few questions that I have for you. First of all, with our listeners, it seems to be a big movement with some of these motivational speakers in the business world. They're grinding it out, and they're only sleeping from 11 to 4 a.m. So they're basically getting 5 hours of sleep, and they're working hard at 5:30 every day. I mean, how many hours of sleep do you think people need? I mean, if let's just say they're following your 5 steps there, and they feel like they only need 5 hours of sleep, is that an accurate amount of sleep, or what do you think?
It's really individual. It's just like, the right diet for you is kind of an individual process. It's based on your heritage, your body type, how your body processes everything. For sleep, the studies have suggested that 7 hours is an ideal. 8 is too much, and 6 is not enough for many people. Mm-hmm. Now, when I started cleansing my body and really eating lightly, I only could sleep 5 hours, and I would still wake up and feel refreshed. So part of it is, can you fall asleep easily? Do you sleep through the night? When you wake up, do you feel okay? And you don't need a lot of stimulation to get through your day? So that's, those are the questions to ask. Most people, I interview everybody about this, and most people like to have 6 or 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. They feel better, but 50% people don't. They'll go to sleep at 11. They might wake up at 2 or 3 and go pee, and then toss and turn, and they have, they need something to take their brain down because they got worries, they got stresses.
Right.
They're thinking about this, and if you incorporate Chinese medicine into it, 3 to 5 a.m. is worry time. It's lung time. So if you have any grief or loss or you're worried, that's a time that it could activate and make it hard for you to go back to sleep. So that's a common thing. And there's a lot of natural remedies I have in my book and on the website, ideas for things you can do, like if you wake up at 2 or 3, or things that help you go to sleep, like 5-HTP or tryptophan or herbs. There's so many herbal formulas out for everything. So that, that's really key. And I don't sleep. This morning I slept 7 hours. But, because I was up at 4:30 and I read for a little bit, and I took a product I have called Zen, which is theanine and GABA. Uh-huh. They're both kind of brain calmers. And then I read for a little while, and my new kitty was, crawling around on me, and then I went back to sleep from, 5:30, 5:45 till 8:30, which I hardly ever do. I'm usually up at 5:30 or 6, because normally I can sleep most of the night through.
Yeah, sure. And wouldn't you say it's important to listen to your body? I mean, if your body's telling you you're still tired and you need some more sleep, it's okay to give yourself permission to sleep a little bit more, right?
Yeah. And I'm trying to get people to not override the body messages with stimulants and sedatives, which is what we do. Uh-huh. I've coined this syndrome called the stimulation sedation syndrome, which I write about on my website, and that's part of my Regain Your Natural Energy course. Is unhooking from the caffeine and sugar stimulation in the morning and overriding that, or energy drinks, and then trying to sedate ourselves later with alcohol or other relaxants. It's easy becomes a dependency situation, and then it's hard to break that. And then you need a little bit more. Usually with, dependencies, abuses, and addictions, we tend to need more and more as we go on. So I see a lot of people who drink 3,